Person 108, so your energy began kind of messing with my process in my own heart center when I typically connect with my inner child. And when I tried to connect with my inner child, our room was split and we kept getting split apart. So I knew this whole reading was going to somewhat focus around the connection possibly between you and the inner child. So then I went through and I took the energies, and it was interesting. I took the rainbow light energies like very well, which means I would assume you're probably taking the healing energies and the higher frequencies. You're running those probably really well as well. And so when your energy manifested onto the rainbow road, I see this butterfly, this moth, this bat. Like, I couldn't get if there was, I don't think there was a meaning specifically to that, but it was more in this, and I'm gonna say the word, I don't know if this is the right term to use, but like a suspended animation is kind of what they were showing me. This bat, it was like almost freeze framed, where you could see the bat in every detail, but he was flying and his wings were doing that, like where it pulls out and then flaps forward, but he was in like one place, and you could see all of those tiny intricate movements. It is if somebody had like slowed it down, this video footage, so much that you could see exactly how this bat was flying. And so he just keeps like flapping like that, this like flapping, and it was kind of doing it as a butterfly as well. And so I'm getting maybe that there's a lot of movement, but not going anywhere, because that's what it seemed like there was no like trajectory of where this bat was going. It was almost like it was being held in this freeze frame, but it was moving, so if that makes sense. And so I asked what the reading was titled, and I got purpose, and I know we have recently discussed this, so and this is kind of what I intended going in, so focused around purpose. So now the bat then transitions and turns into this man, and this man is walking in a full suit. He comes out of a huge building, and he's wearing this full suit, top hat, and it's you, and you're holding a briefcase, and you have this like fake mustache and fake glasses on. It's almost like one of those phony glasses with the nose and the mustache. That's kind of what it looks like, but I know it's you. And you go to the curb and you jump into a taxi, and it very much so feels like New York, and you go all the way down. I see this road go all the way down, then the taxi turns around like U-turns and pulls all the way back, and there's like this median divider in the middle of the road, a cement divider, and now you're on the other side of the road, and you exit the taxi and you get out, and you're in this huge skyscraping building that was just right across the road, but you chose to go the long way to get there. You went into a taxi, you went all the way around, and then parked on the other side. So you get out, you go into this other big office building, and I see you go all the way up to the top penthouse floor, and it's definitely offices, and I see there's a desk, and you have this like top corner office, and you throw your briefcase down, and you look out the windows, and you're almost like your arms are out, almost like a feeling of triumph, or like this is mine type of a thing. And then you turn around back towards the window, you pull off your mustache, you pull off your glasses and your hat, you throw it down on the table, and you're like almost like Superman, like pulling off that clothes, and you have this like weird glider outfit, and you jump out this like sky the outside fire escape, and you go to the very top roof of the building. You get on the top roof of the building, and you literally run and jump off, and you're doing like that sky gliding thing where you look like a little sugar glider with your those kind of webbed arm things. And so you're out flying around, and you're doing all these circles and figure eights around all these like New York type skyscraper buildings, and it looks like you're following the sun. And I can tell, like, I don't know, is it the Hudson River? I don't know what that big body of water is right there. So it's like you're following this, it's out on your left, and you're trying to get towards the water, and I feel like you're keeping the water on your left hand side, but the sun is like directly in front of you, and so you finally choose to just go away from the city and towards the light, the big sun. And so you're never descending, you stay up, it's not like you're falling at all, and you just keep going. I can kind of see like a landform off in the distance that kind of looks like an island or something, but it's like not about that. It's about going to it's like freedom. I feel like you're leaving the craziness of the city behind you, and you're heading towards the light, and it's like this feeling of freedom. And so as soon as we get that, then you start heading towards this island, and so you land on this island, and there's a drink placed in your hand, and you start this like conga line with people. And what's that song? I have no clue who this is. I'm thinking like Lionel Richie. I don't know. The song "All Night Long," all night, all night, all night long. So that song's like playing over and over, and you're like drinking and like having fun, and then finally it's like you kind of pass out. The sun feels like it's setting. You drop on the sand of this like beach where you were kind of partying, and you lay down. And as you lay down and kind of pass out, I see a dream bubble come up from your head, and there's this little tiny version of you, and it's like waving to me to come over, and it runs up to your ear and jumps inside your ear, and so I follow, and so we're in your brain, and it's showing me inside the brain. And I know we just talked about that. It's showing me this infinity sign that's running in your brain that's like pulling together the left and the right hemisphere, and I'm looking to see if there's any blockages, if there's anything happening, and it feels very connected and very fluid and very flowing. And then it takes me down your body and goes into the heart center, and it shows me another figure eight running here, and then it takes me down into the solar plexus center and shows me another figure eight running here. So I'm getting these three power centers are all very fluid, very like running the energy well. And then what happens is the three figure eights then pull together into the heart center, and so now everything's pulling together in the heart center. And so I would explain this as like, at least my understanding of it is, when the lower self and the higher self are in perfect harmony, and aligned with the divine destiny or the purpose work of this soul in a lifetime, then everything from the higher self, everything from the lower self combines together in that heart center, and it's just like blissed out world light. Everything's aligned, everything works, it's when life is easy, everything just seems to manifest for you. So I'm getting this transition. We're pulling all these energies here into the heart center. And when this happens, now I'm in your heart center, and I'm seeing your inner child. So in your heart center, a heart center me always represents itself as like a room, or like a bedroom, or some kind of living quarters. And so when I move in, I see your inner child jumping on the bed, and it's this, I would consider it like a old school medieval bed chamber, like huge 4-post bed, like super oversized bed, and on the wall are like all of these medieval, like, I don't know, I don't even know any of the names of these things, but like that big ball and chain thing, like javelins, big axes, like there's all these like weaponry, huge metal, like the size of your inner child, right? And so I'm watching your inner child jump on the bed, and you've got this helmet on, and you've got a shield, and you're like jumping, and you're just having this good old time. And so I'm trying to get what is trying to be conveyed through this. And so finally I go, I'm just going to interview your inner child. So I call your inner child over. I call you by your first, middle, and last name, and I ask the inner child, I said, so what are you doing? And he says, I'm going to go slay the dragon. I'm going to go fight the dragon. I'm going to be a knight. I'm going to fight the dragon. And I'm like, why are you going to fight the dragon? And he says, because I'm going to be a hero. And so I'm going, so this is it. So we're probably getting pulled into you to do persona work, archetypal work. So if you haven't engaged in this at all, a lot of times, and don't take this, I'm going to say the word block, but don't think you're blocked. But a lot of times what happens is we tend to manifest things from a version or a created archetype that we made, or a persona that we made at some point in time. And if we go unacknowledging of this created persona, it still acts out and plays out in some of our interactions and how we move through life. And so we tend to manifest from that persona instead of from our most connected and divinely aligned soul purpose. And so what I'm getting is that your inner child, something that you're operating from, is this archetype of the hero or the knight in shining armor. That was another one, but hero seemed to fit more appropriately. And so I I was trying to run through some feelings, and I was trying to run through, like, are we being heroes to females? Are we being heroes to, situations, or so we can be perceived as above somebody else, or better, or more chivalrous than somebody else? And so I was trying to kind of run through some things, and the only thing that kind of maybe hit or lingered in my mind, and I don't know if this is going to be a truthful statement or not, would be something possibly connected to mother here. But I'm not sure. You'll have to go into that for yourself. And then, so after this, then everything pulls back together, and I see you. So I've gained the information here, and now I see you manifest onto the Rainbow Road, and you've got the whole conga line from the island back. Oh, so I think you, like, manifested back onto the beach. You woke up from the beach, and you then take the whole conga line, that party that was with you, and so you're walking the Rainbow Road. You're the leader, and you've got all these people behind you. And now the song that's playing is the hooked on a feeling. So I don't know. Songs typically hold meanings, and so if you sing that song out, I think it kind of relates to some of the story that's been conveyed so far. And so now you're walking towards the portal, the door frame that represents the next phase of this journey. And as you choose to move through, I'm actually, like, watching you, and I say, "Are you ready to move through?" And I usually don't do this to people, and you say, "Yeah." And so you actually create this rainbow bridge, where it typically stops for me and it becomes this open channel where I can read somebody's chakras. You create this rainbow bridge, and you move through the chakra pillar that I typically read for somebody. You move through it on your own rainbow bridge to the other side, and you turn around and look back at the area that would be this pillar of light where you would have placed yourself in some kind of chakra category, and you look back at it, and I'm just watching you kind of stare at it, and I'm getting that I finally ask and get that it maybe would be too, and I don't think too much to do chakra, but I think they really want you focused on this persona work and this kind of inner child work. And so the chakras, I think they're just kind of avoiding any kind of new connection here. And then, so I see you now walking towards your Akashic records, and your Akashic records look like if you could envision a house built out of rainbows. So you walk up to this, and it's almost like floating on clouds, but on a grassy hill type of a thing. And you walk up to it, you open the door, and you move in. And as soon as you move in, I get the feeling, I can see almost like a floor plan from a traditional colonial kind of house. And I see you in, like, a living room or an entryway, you could say. And I see light begin to enter inside of you, and then I see, as if you go into a kitchen, and I see a different color light frequency coming into you. And so the instant thing that I get here is that your house is where you're most connected, and maybe your home is where your home, like, literally your home is where your heart is. Like, your home is literally where you feel most connected, most aligned, most balanced, most, like, spiritual. Maybe I feel like there's a very intense connection around you being very fluid in your home setting, and so from here we call down your higher self, and I ask your higher self, what's for the greatest good for this person to know. And your higher self actually comes down, like, I get the word matador, but your higher self is the bull. Like, it's almost like is it a centaur? What are those, where it's like half bull, half man? Like, you had this very predominant but human voice. And so I would definitely do work on that in some future date. But so we ask your higher self, what's for the greatest good, and your higher self basically says your heart holds on to personas that are no longer serving you, and it's time to do the work to figure out why those personas are still here, so that you may clear and move forward and begin to align yourself to the most authentic path that is here and waiting for you. And that it's basically everything's in alignment. You just have to do a little bit of work now, moving into the heart center, and basically interviewing that inner child and seeing, why, the who, what, why, when, where, all of that, it was created. And then with light and love, allowing that inner child to express its story, and then, allowing it to be heard, and then you being able to gain the wisdom of how that's playing out in your life today, and then allowing yourself to transition this energy into, a divine harmony and balance in your entire being. And then this opens up then the ability for you to be able to draw down the highest wisdom, draw up the physical body, the lower self, and then move forward with clear intention daily, moving from the heart center always in most divine and connected alignment to the soul purpose. And so it's interesting, but it seems all very relevant and very familiar, and I would wonder if you would feel the same way. So with light and love.